Hello dear students. In the previous classes, you are seen regarding the advantages of high voltage transmission as well as disadvantages also. Now, let us see what are the elements will be there in the transmission line. In a transmission system, what are the elements will be there. The different elements in the transmission line are conductors, step up and step down transformers, line insulators, support, protective device and voltage regulating devices. So these are the major elements in a transmission line. So what are the conductors? Conductors are usually 3 conductors for a single circuit line or 6 conductors for the double circuit line. The usual material used is aluminium reinforced with steel. Majorly it is used as aluminium one. The second one is step up and step down transformers. At the sending end and the receiving end, sometimes at the transmission receiving station as well as substations are having these transformers according to its function, whether it is step up is required or step down is required. So transformers permit power to be transmitted at the high efficiency. That's what we are going to use this step up and step down transformer, because we know that for a high voltage transmission it is the economic one. That's why at the generator side we will be having step up transformers, at the utility side we are having the step down transformers. Coming to the line insulators, which is mechanically gives proper support to the line conductor as well as it is isolating from the electrically to the ground. The two things are there in these insulators. One is it gives the mechanical support to conductor, that at the same time it should act as a insulation from the ground. Earth is also a conductor. If a line is come in contact with the earth, it is getting shorted or it is earthed, then total power is flowing through the ground. That's what the insulators on the line, which helps the your conductors getting coming contact to the earth. That's what insulators acts both support as well as insulation. Coming to the support, so which is these supports are gives the mechanical strength using the towers. Sometimes there will be a steel towers, sometimes RCC towers. You are seeing all those things. Depending upon the size or depending upon the voltage level, we are choosing the different types of supports. So this supports is also one element of the transmission line. Protecting devices. So obviously grounding wires, lightning arresters, circuit breakers, relays, all these things are gives or ensures satisfactory service to the transmission lines. So suddenly lightnings are taking place, it should be protect the line from the lightning. So lightning arresters are required. If any fault is occurs, relay should act so to close the circuit breaker. So all these things are there to support the transmission line, to protect the transmission line. Then voltage regulating devices, so which is very important. So because of this many problems are taking place at the utility side. So you should have the proper voltage regulation. So at the receiving end, voltage regulating devices are used. Then economics in the power transmission. What are the economic factors to be taken place in power transmission? Economic means in the sense of cost it is. Okay, the first thing is economic choice of the conductor size. Choosing the conductor is very important here. Obviously conductor has a cost, either it is copper or aluminium, it is having the cost. What is the size you are using, that is one important one. So if you are using a bigger conductor, obviously you need to give the more cost. But the problem is what? Your performance will be good, but cost is more. If you go for a small conductor, cost is less, but the performance wise it may give the more losses to the system. To handle these things, you should go for a reliable conductor size. That is what economic one, not cheaper one. It's a economic one. There is a difference in cheaper and economic. Cheaper means what? Only cost size it is cheaper. Performance size it is not give you the exact result. Economic means what? For that particular price it is good. That condition is called as economic. Then economic choice of the transmission voltage. Yeah, we know that high voltage transmission gives the good things for the conductor size. But not only these factors to be taken. No, you should think about of the different materials also. If you go for very high voltages, you need to go for high insulators, high supports, high value transformers are required. So then what happens? You need to choose the proper economic choice of the transmission voltage. The voltage which you are using to transmission should be very clear. It should be both economic one, means what, economic as well as efficient one. Okay, so what is the economic choice of transmission voltage? Economic choice of the transmission voltage is nothing but the transmission voltage for which the cost of the conductor, cost of the insulator, transformers and switchgears and other terminal apparatus are minimum, is called as economical transmission voltage. How to choose this one? First one is what, annual charge on the capital outlay is to be taken, as well as annual cost of the energy wasted is to be taken. Using these two, you by taking the Kelvin's law, with what he is given the different techniques or different equations, using by collecting the data from the annual charge on capacity outlay as well as annual cost of energy wasted, using graphical method of the Kelvin's law, the economic choice of the conductor is taken. But Kelvin's law has got its own some limitation, because it is not easy to estimate the energy loss. The assumption of annual cost on account of interest and depreciation is not possible properly. This law doesn't take into the several physical factors like safe current density, mechanical strength, corona loss, etc. The conductor size determined by this law may not always the practicable. So interest and depreciation of the capital outlay cannot be determined absolutely. That's what, there are some defects in Kelvin's law, but we can calculate the economic choice of the transmission voltages. So while choosing the economic cost, or we need to know the how the different equipment are cost according to the voltage level. Transformer, at the generating and receiving end we require the transformers. For a given power, the cost is increases slowly with the increase in the transmission voltage. Means for some power is there, let us assume 10 megawatt power or 10 MVA power, 11 kV transformer rating is gives some amount of the some amount of the cost for the transformer. If it is for 220 kV, it is having more cost. Means as the voltage range is higher, the same power, the cost of the transformer is increases. Coming to switch gear, this is also the cost increases with the increase in the transmission voltage. Lightning arrestor is also the same thing. The cost of this lightning arrestor increases with the increase in the transmission voltage. Insulation and supports, we know each insulation has got different its breakdown strength. So as voltage increases, we need to have the more capacity insulator. So as the voltage increases, the cost of the insulation also increases. But conductor is concerned, as the voltage increases, conductor's cost is going to decrease. Means the first four things are its cost are increasing with increasing the voltage, and the conductor is only one material where your cost is decreasing with the increase in the voltage. So to get the economical one, we will be having a graph for different transmission voltage. What is the different costs? Means all these 5 equipments cost are taken for different kVs. Like for 11 kV, what is the cost for a given power? If it is 22 kV, what is the cost for the given equipment? Or if it is 33 kV, what is the cost for the same power for different equipment? If it is 110 kV, what are the cost for all these elements? Totally we will be having a, for each kV, what is the cost for the elements. Then we will be having a graph on this. The point at which it gives you a minimum point, that is taken as the economic choice, economic voltage, or at that particular voltage range we will be feeling the cost is less, or the cost is economic one. So using this formula, V is equal to 5.5 square root of 0.62 L plus 3P by 150, where V is the line voltage in kilowatt, P is the maximum kilowatt per phase to be delivered to single circuit, and L is the distance of the transmission line. So we can choose the economic choice of the voltage for which voltage you will get the economic choice. Coming to the requirements of the satisfactory electric supply. So what are the satisfactory electric supply should have? One satisfactory electric supply should have one good voltage regulation. So a voltage variation has a large effect on the operation of both power machinery and lights. So to get the proper output or proper operation of the utility side, we must have a good voltage regulation. A motor is designed to have a best characteristics at the rated voltage, and consequently a voltage that is too high or too low, it will results in the decrease of its efficiency or its performance. So the sudden changes in the voltages are harmful to motors. That's what voltage regulation is very good in a satisfactory electric system. Dependability is means it should be give a uninterrupted service to the supplier, because if suddenly losing of the power, all those things like a hospital or a crowded areas like theaters and all, it will makes a dangerous effect. See, sudden hospitals, one operation is going on, suddenly power goes means the patient may go lead to die. That's what these uninterrupted supply should be given by a electric supply system. Balanced voltage, it is one of the very important things, because all the three phase should have a balanced voltage, otherwise all the machineries are designed to the particular voltage will give the malfunctions. Efficiency is one of the important things, otherwise most of the things are getting wasted. So as the efficiency is good, the cost of the actual energy is also going to decrease, or it will give you the lesser values only. Otherwise, if the efficiency is less, means the power, most of the power is getting lost, so you need to pay for the high money for less power. So this is one of the important things. So efficiency should be good. Frequency, so small deviation in frequency will make a major disturbance in the machineries. That's what the supply system should have proper frequency or fixed frequency. That should not be having any frequency deviation. Sinusoidal waveform, the alternating voltage supplied to the consumer should have a sine waveform. It because of any harmonics which might be present in the system will make the distortion of the waveform. So that harmonics may cause the generators, all those things to get or it may harmful for the operation of the different machineries. That's what it should be free from harmonics. It is very clearly sine wave to the user. And freedom from the inductive interferences. So power lines during parallel with the telephone lines and produces electrostatic and electromagnetic field disturbances, which are going to distort the main electricity sine waves. So it should not be disturbed. There will be noises in the system, so it should not be having any inductive interferences from the telephone lines or some other lines. That's what the requirement of a satisfactory electric supply system is. It should have a good voltage regulation. Dependability is very good, means it should not having any interrupts. Balanced voltage is just to give. Efficiency should be very high. There should not be having any frequency deviation. Sine wave should be very proper, and it should be free from the inductive interferences. So let us stop here today, and in the next class we will see the remaining part. Thank you.